Welcome to Half-Ass Podcast, folks. I am me, and I am here to do a full-fledged Judas and the Black Messiah movie review. That's right. I watched this movie yesterday, and holy shit, within the first 10 minutes, I was like, Jesus Christ, Daniel Kaluuya kills it. I went into this movie not really knowing too much about Fred Hampton. Like, I heard about how he died, but I didn't know too much about Fred Hampton and everything else he did, and that what he actually stood for was actually morally good. And some of the things that he did within, the party and everything. Look, man, this was a phenomenal movie. This was a phenomenal cast. Let's start off with Daniel Kaluuya, obviously. This dude killed this performance. And again, I think this is probably an Oscar-worthy performance, man. This dude was so fucking good. So good. He gets you to feel whatever he's feeling. And to me, whatever actor can get you to do that. I mean, Will Smith's one of the actors. Tom Hanks, another one. Like, whatever role that they have, they can make you feel like you're in that role. They can make you feel whatever it is they want you to feel. They can tug at any emotion they want you to have. And Daniel Kaluuya, in a very short amount of time, has been able to do it. And this is, look, man, this performance is way better than his performance in Get Out, because I feel like in Get Out, that's every black man's that's every black man's reaction in Get Out. But like, this movie was just like, he straight killed it. From being, this loud and outgoing activist, and this leadership role, this presence that he had. I mean, he was good in Black Panther as well, in the movie Black Panther. But man, like, this was an actual, like, this movie was an actual movie that just, when you finish watching this film, and I hope I'm not the only person that has these feelings after certain movies, it's just like, after watching this movie, it's just like, damn, like, I can't cut this movie off, after this movie's over. I can't, go back to playing video games right after it, because it just gives you that hard-hitting, like, feel to it. It's a crazy, crazy, crazy movie. So, for the people who don't know what Judas and the Black Messiah is about, it's not necessarily about Fred Hampton's life or anything like that. It's more about the part, like the Black Panther Party that, he's the head of, or the chapter that he's like the I forget what they call him, like commissioner, or I forget what they call him, commissioner or captain or something like that, whatever the fuck, right? Either way, he's the head honcho of his chapter of the Black Panther Party in Chicago. And I think this was in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, I believe, right? However, it gets infiltrated by an FBI informant, which is played by this man, Lakeith Stanfield. And I believe his name was Will O'Neill, or Bill O'Neill, something like, I guess Bill, whatever, right? William O'Neill. And Lakeith Stanfield, he has an Oscar-worthy performance. And again, you guys, anyone who's been watching Half-Ass Podcasts for, at least 6 months, I don't throw the word Oscar-worthy, I don't throw the term Oscar-worthy around much. But damn, this movie had a lot. This movie had a lot. Lakeith Stanfield kills it, because it makes you feel for Snitch. It makes you feel for this guy who's an informant. Look, man, it really does make you question, like, if you were in his shoes, what would you do? How would you react? Would you even put yourself in that situation? This movie is nuts. And again, I'm not going to go through detail by detail to the movie. My job here, when I do these reviews, when I do these solo reviews of these movies, at least, is to make you want to watch it. So I don't give away every single detail. I just give you the important shit, okay? Or at least the mega important shit. Lakeith Stanfield played this snitch really well. And, I saw a couple of interviews that Dan Clue did, and some people tried to throw shade at, certain people tried to throw shade at Lakeith Stanfield as a person, and I don't condone that at all. Look, this guy, if you had any question whether Lakeith Stanfield was a fucking incredible actor, watch this movie. Watch this movie. This is a movie that when you sit down and watch it, like you cannot stop thinking to yourself, like, Jesus Christ, it keeps getting better. This movie's so intense. It's a hard-hitting movie. And when I say that, I mean like this isn't like hey, let's go to date night and watch it. No. This is a movie that you need to sit down. It doesn't matter whether you're black, white, whatever. You sit down and watch this movie. And you're gonna ask questions. You're gonna ask yourself questions. You're gonna ask questions to yourself after watching this movie. This is a fucking amazing movie. Now, Lakeith Stanfield was the FBI informant, aka the snitch, rat, whatever you want to call him, in this movie. And every situation that they put him in where he almost gets caught, he gets himself out of. But not with the help of the FBI agent played by Jesse Plemons, who everybody who knows me personally knows that I hold Jesse Plemons near and dear to my heart because my favorite show of all time, Friday Night Lights, he was one of the main characters. And man, I knew from the jump. People know, Minka Kelly from other stuff. People know him from other stuff. People know Taylor Kitsch from other stuff. And obviously Michael B. Jordan and Journey Smollett and all of them. Look, I know them all from Friday Night Lights. Well, except for Journey Smollett. I remember her from Selma Lord Selma, like from way back in the day when I was a kid. But look, I knew this guy was destined to be a star before people even knew his fucking name. All right? This dude kills it too. And you wouldn't think he does because he plays pretty much the antagonist in the movie or one of the antagonists in the movie. But let me tell you something. If you had any question whether Jesse Plemons was an Oscar-worthy actor, watch this movie. Because there are times where you're like, man, he's put in this tough situation, and at the beginning you think he's a good guy. The first half, hey, they had me in the first half. All right? In the first half of the movie, it has you thinking, oh, wow, like this FBI agent, he has a heart. He feels for black people, he feels for all kind of, for all people. And that this guy he's actually a good guy at heart at the end of the day. But then here comes the second half of the movie where you start seeing him and the way he reacts to what he's being told by Big Brother corrupt government and his superiors. Then he lets it all get to his head, and then he starts using Lakeith Stanfield's character, Will O'Neill, as a pawn in the second half of the movie. Like, straight up, like, uses and abuses the fuck out of this cat, right? This is an amazing movie. And hopefully, my review of this, just letting you all know, like, look, these guys give you a hard-hitting performance. And again, this is all based on a true story. Like, all this shit happened in real life. Like, there's nothing was dramatized or anything like that. Like, this was all real. And publicized. Very, very publicized. And, so, I mean, there's no actual, like, parts of the movie for me to actually, like, review to you because these are actual real events. And it seems kind of weird for me to try and give you, like, oh, and then this happened and that happened. But there are certain scenes where I was like, holy shit. Like the scene where they're getting shot up, where they shoot up the what do they call it? The headquarters, right? The Black Panther headquarters. And Lakeith Stanfield's character, like he goes on top of the roof. He's like, look, I'm gonna get him on top of the roof. Then he gets shot at because I think he's a sniper. Then he runs back down. Then he takes off the hat, the Black Panther hat, and then puts down the gun. And then he walks out. And he's like, like nothing ever happened. Like he walks out through the back like nothing ever happened. And they still think that he's like inside the... Look, man, that scene alone was fucking incredible. Again, not what happened in real life, okay? Let's be very clear, crystal clear. I'm not talking about what happened in real life. I'm just talking about his performance. I'm only talking about the performances in the movie. Not talking about any real life events. I'm not talking about not even any events in the actual movie. Just the way he went out, just his performance, the way he just changed, just switched, just like that. That was incredible. And again, man, look, the second half, Jesse Plemons killed it. He just continued to kill it because of his whole switch of character. You know, he has you thinking that he's this great human being in the first half, and then in the second half, it's like, boom, this guy's a piece of shit. Mega piece of shit. And, you know, I find out, again, throughout this entire movie, I find out a lot of things about, you know, Lakeith Stanfield's character. I find things out about Fred Hampton, and I find things out about the FBI. Look, man, one of the hardest hitting things about this movie, not just about this movie, but what really actually happened in real life was very shocking. So this guy was a snitch, right? And he ends up living in the end. He survives all of this. He actually helped set up Fred Hampton being murdered, because if he didn't help, the FBI agent, Jesse Plemons' character, would expose him. And they already said in the movie that they boiled a snitch to death, but he wasn't really a snitch anyways. They boiled him to death, poured boiling water, pretty much burned his nuts off. And I'm saying that yeah. They say it in a way worse way in the movie, but they burned his nuts off. Not him, but a snitch per se in the movie. And then they find out later that it was, well, you find out as the viewer, you find out that the real snitch was still alive. The real other snitch was still alive. And pretty much he says, look, man, it's kind of like the Sons of Anarchy kind of stipulation, what they did with Juice, which was like, if they find out you lied to them and that you're a snitch, guess what they'll do to you? So you must do as I say, because if not, I will expose you and I'll let them handle it. You know what I mean? Again, it's a very, very fucked up situation. And these are very real things, too. Like, the FBI was exposed in this whole thing, too. But yes, he did indeed help set up the death of Fred Hampton, which, again, I thought was very... Like, the way I didn't think they were going to do that scene in this movie. Because I did hear about... I did know about the death of Fred Hampton. That's pretty much all I really knew about Fred Hampton, was the way he died. I didn't think they were going to do that scene in this movie. I really didn't, because, you know, the kind of culture that we live in this day and age. But that should tell you that, you know, we're so dehumanized in that sense. Because even, look, man, I don't have a weak stomach, and I'm not, you know, squeamish or anything like that. And, but, man, like, I can sit there and watch a gory scene with a straight face, but... It's just, there's so much emotion tied to this whole story that you're just like, fuck. And then knowing the fact that this happened in real life, and it's just kind of like your brain kind of like, you know, remembering, oh shit, like all of this happened in real life, and probably worse than what we were shown on film. You know what I mean? And just it was hard to watch, man. I'm not going to lie. It was, and I never really say that about anything. Like, again, like this... And that's credit to Daniel Kaluuya, Jesse Plemons, Lakeith Stanfield, whoever played the wife too. Like, it goes to credit to all of them, because there was so much emotion tied up in this movie to where I was like, man, I was kind of hoping they wouldn't show that scene, and they did. They showed the raid. I wouldn't say the raid, but I guess you could say the raid, like where they just came in and started shooting. And then you find out later that, you know, only one shot was shot in the house by the Panthers, and then they, you know, the FBI tried what did it do? Convicted all of them for attempted murder or some shit like that. The wife was pregnant. That was another thing too. Like it's just so much shit was going on in that scene, man. It was just crazy. And then knowing that Lakeith Stanfield's character was the one that he helped set that up. And then the scene after that where he shows up and he meets up with Jesse Plemons' character, the FBI agent, the one that got him in this whole shit. And then he gives him some money, gives him keys to a gas station and says, hey, you're now an owner of a gas station. And back in the day, that meant a lot to be black and be an owner of anything. So, that meant a lot as well. So I'm sure that was a huge thing for Lakeith Stanfield's character, for the guy in real life too. But then at the very end, man, which was the hardest part, and it wasn't even like an actual scene, and something I didn't know that happened in real life. Bill O'Neill went on after helping kill Fred Hampton. Went on continuing to act, putting on a stellar performance, continuing to act. He stayed with the Black Panthers. I think they said 7 years or some shit after the death of Fred Hampton. Until it's and then he later on left, right? And then in 91 or 1990 or something like that, right? He did his first and only sit down about the events that happened and him being a snitch. So he actually came out and admitted that he was a snitch on national television, on PBS. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part was later that evening, he offed himself. He committed suicide after that. That was shocking to me. And after reading that, I was like, holy fucking shit. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there's, you're probably going to have to do that because you came out openly and said, I snitched and I was an informant and all this stuff happened and I helped set up the death. Pretty much you helped kill one of the most influential people in the black community nationally. And, yeah, that's probably not going to go over so well. So, yeah, I mean, again, that was very shocking. Like, this movie, and again, like, when you learn about that stuff, it's just like, it's another story. And not saying it's less important, but it's another story. But when you're seeing it happen, like, when it's portrayed on film, on screen, and you're like, fuck, and you have the actors such as Daniel Kaluuya, Jesse Plemons, Lakeith Stanfield. It's tough. It's tough. Again, this was a stellar. This movie was so good, and they were so well in getting you emotionally tied in that after watching this movie, I wasn't, I kind of had to sit there for a minute. I'm like, whew. That movie gave you a tough pill to swallow. I wanted to play Madden after that, but I was like, oof, like. Am I like? Should I feel? I kind of feel bad for wanting to play Madden after watching the movie. Like I should do something. I should write something or something and be creative. Look, man. All I'm gonna say is you all need to go watch. Head over to HBO Max or pirate the movie. I don't really care about Warner Brothers. You financially support it. Look, go watch this movie. However you can go watch this movie, go watch this movie. It is a great movie. And I'm going to go as far as saying this is the best movie I've watched in this year. Although we're only a month and a half into 2021. But so far, it's the best movie I've watched in the year of 2021 so far. So, now I'm going to give my half-ass grade to Judas and the Black Messiah. And my half-ass grade is going to be a fat A+. Look, man, to be able to take real life events and portray them and in a factual way and a hard hitting way and not only get people emotionally invested, but keep them emotionally invested. Yes, I'm going to have to give this movie an A+. Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, and Jesse Plemons all deserve an Oscar of some sort because of this movie. And I hope they get it, because this was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, while you're here, and before you go and head over to HBO Max and watch Judas and the Black Messiah, I want you guys to hit that like and subscribe. All right? So that I can continue to do stuff like this. But with that being said, I am me. This is Half-Ass Pod. And I am OUT.